Hello YouTube, today we are going to compare S4, Xperia Z and HTC One with each other to see which one is a better device in terms of display, hardware, battery, ports, design, dimensions, speakers and in opening apps. So let's start this review by looking at the display of these three awesome devices. So S4, Xperia Z and HTC One have full HD display, and this is with a resolution of 1920 by 1080 pixels. However, three of these devices offer different display, as Sony comes up with 5-inch Sony Mobile Bravia Gen 2 display, competing with 5-inch S4 Super AMOLED HD display and HTC One 4.7 Super LCD 3 display. Sony and Semi boost 440 pixels per inch, while HTC One have added more sharpness to its display by providing HTC One with 469 pixels per inch, which are 28 pixels per inch better than Semi and as well as Sony display. So of course it's totally your choice which one you are lacking the most while looking, as three of them have impressive resolution as well as super pixels per inch. Now I have maxed the brightness on three of these devices to show you which one is going to show us more brighter image in comparison to each other. So to make sure that I have maxed the brightness, you can see a brightness bar on your S4. On the other hand, on your HTC One, you have to get into the settings to max the brightness. So I have already did it on HTC One as well, and confirm it on Xperia Z as well. So I have maxed the brightness on Xperia Z as well. Now open a web page to compare a brightness of these devices with each other. So here you can witness that HTC One is showing us a much brighter image in comparison to Xperia Z. And I think on a second place we have Sony Xperia Z over here. Now let's talk about the heart of these phones, which is of course hardware. So S4 and HTC One comes up with a Snapdragon 600 quad-core processor to compete with Xperia Z Snapdragon S4 processor. It's amazing to see that these devices launched one by one, and this is started off with Sony Xperia Z 1.5 GHz CPU speed. Then HTC makes its way with 1.7 GHz CPU, and then Samsung replied back to them with 1.9 GHz processor. However, it's good to see that three of these devices packs 2 GB of RAM as well as Adreno 320 GPU for gaming. So RAM and GPU is identical on three of these devices. So practically speaking, three of these devices are very good in gaming, which you can witness from my uploaded gaming videos. Now I'm going to run an At&t benchmark on three of these devices to see which one is a better device in terms of CPU, GPU and RAM. And for that you have to make sure that you have closed down all the live wallpapers. So I have already closed all the live wallpapers in these devices, and now I'm going to boot them up together to see which one is going to boot up quickly for us. So here we go. So when you press power on and off key on three of these devices, HTC One is going to respond quicker, and here you can see an amazing booting up speed of HTC One. It has booted up really quickly in comparison to S3 and Xperia Z. Now on a second place we have S4. And of course on a last place we have Xperia Z over here. So I will be back when I will get result from an At&t benchmark. So now we have got scores in front of us. Xperia Z has scored 20,080 in comparison to 25,305 score of S4, and in comparison to 24,514 score of HTC One. CPU has scored 8,562 on Xperia Z, and on S4 it has scored 11,986. On the other hand, on HTC One it has scored 11,115. So of course CPU score of S4 is better than Xperia Z and HTC One. GPU has scored 7,127 on Xperia Z. On S4 it has scored 8,245, and on HTC One it has scored more than S4 and Xperia Z score, which is 8,517. RAM has scored 3,512 on Xperia Z. On S4 it has scored 4,173, which is of course more than the score of Xperia Z and HTC One RAM, because HTC One RAM has only scored 3,977. So guys, these At&t benchmark results are not 100% accurate, because sometimes when you run an At&t benchmark on 3 of these devices you get higher results and sometimes you get lower results. So results vary from each other whenever you are trying to run an At&t benchmark on these devices. Sometimes you get similar results that I have here, but sometimes they vary when you run. Now let's talk about the design and dimensions of these phones. So S4 is surrounded by a metal ring, and this is in comparison to Xperia Z's subtly rounded edges with reflective surfaces on all sides, and in comparison to HTC One chrome metal edges which shine under the light and looks really attractive. On the back of S4 we have plastic battery cover competing with solid and attractive glass at the back of Sony Xperia Z and metal at the back of HTC One. So of course build quality is better on HTC One and Xperia Z. A plus point of having S4 is access to battery, which Z and One doesn't have. Z is a water resistant and dust proof device which will give you freedom to receive your phone calls and even your emails and messages in the rain. Now how HTC can stay behind here? They have equipped HTC One with dual speakers with Beat audio support, and these speakers sound very loud when listening to music or even when you are playing games. There is no deny that HTC and Sony has developed their device with superior material than Samsung, but Samsung has its own theory of putting plastic into its device, as they think it gives consumer access to battery and SD card. So while we are looking at the build quality of these devices, why not have a look at the ports of these devices? So at the top on Xperia Z we have got a 3.5mm jack. On the right hand side we have got a micro SIM slot, and just below to that we have power on and off key, and just below to power on and off key we have got volume rocker key. On the left hand side of our Xperia Z we have micro SD card slot and micro USB port. At the top of HTC One we have got a 3.5mm jack. On the left hand side we have power on and off key on the left top. On the right hand side we have volume rocker key. On the left hand side we have got a micro SIM slot, and at the bottom we have got a micro USB port. So there is no access to micro SD card slot on HTC One. On our S4 at the top we have got a 3.5mm jack. On the right hand side we have got power on and off key. On the left hand side we have got volume rocker key, and at the bottom we have got a micro USB port. So at the back of the battery cover we have access to micro SIM slot and micro SD card slot, and here you can also access your battery. So it's a plus point of having Samsung Galaxy S4, as you have access to battery on your S4. Another plus point of having these devices is that 3 of these devices support micro USB to big USB adapter, and 3 of these devices ports are capable of connecting mini HDMI lead from them. Now let's see what I am talking about here. So this is a micro USB to big USB adapter, and here I have connected my big USB to it. Now I'm going to connect it on my Xperia Z. To access this you have to download a dual file manager from a Play Store. So here you will see option USB storage connected, and now you can get into a dual file manager, or you can say Astro file manager. press this back key, and here you can access all the things which are available on your big USBs. So now I will connect it on HTC One. And again, you have to download a dual file manager to access this thing on your HTC One. Press back, and here we have USB option on our HTC One. Now same thing you have to do on your S4, connect it, but you don't have to download a dual file manager over here because we have got integrated file manager on our S4, which is my file. So it will automatically detect this USB and open all the things which are available in this USB. So that's really good. 3 of these devices support this adapter, and this is a really plus point of having 3 of them. Now I'm going to run a real Racing 3 game on 3 of these devices to show you guys the sound quality from the external speakers of these devices. So let's start this by looking at the speaker quality of Sony Xperia Z. So volume is full over here, and we have only got one speaker at the bottom of our Xperia Z. So it's not too loud. Now let's see how speakers sound on HTC One. So we have got 2 speakers over here. One is at the bottom and the second one is at the top. And actually they are too loud from Xperia Z. Now it's S4 time to show us its speaker quality. The speaker is at the back on S4. Pop up a volume. Here we go. So it's louder than Xperia Z, but it is not as louder as HTC One dual speakers. So here you go. Now you can witness it. So in speakers, of course, HTC One have upper hand over Xperia Z and S4. Now let's have a quick go at the dimensions of these phones. So S4 measures 136.6, which belongs to height of this phone, by 69.8, which belongs to width of this phone, by 7.9 mm, which belongs to thickness of this phone, and this is competing with Sony Xperia Z measurements of 139, which belongs to height of your Xperia Z, by 71, which belongs to width, and it is 7.9 mm thick. And when you are comparing it with HTC One, it will be 137.4, which belongs to height of this phone, by 68.2, which belongs to width of your HTC One, and your HTC One is 9.3 mm thick. A most interesting part to see here is that despite the fact S4 has 5-inch display, it's shorter, lighter than Z and One, as S4 weighs 30 grams instead of Z 146 grams and HTC One 143 grams. Now let's talk about the internal storage of these devices. So in terms of internal storage, S4 is available in 3 variants: 16 GB, 32 GB, and later on we will get 64 GB. Furthermore, its memory can be expandable through microSD card slot, which is up to 64 GB. On the other hand, Xperia Z is only available in 16 GB variant, but we have a microSD card slot in it to expand its memory like S4. HTC One is available in 2 variants, 16 GB and 32 GB, and unluckily there is no access to SD card. So I would say S4 is a winner in internal storage. Now let's talk about the most important factor involved in buying mobiles, which is of course battery. So S4 comes up with 2600 mAh battery, which is 230 mAh more powerful than the battery of Xperia Z and HTC One. From my daily usage, I have found that S4 battery lasts longer than Xperia Z and HTC One battery. It is not as good as on Note 2, but it's really good in comparison to other 4 to 5 inches of mobiles. Furthermore, you can also buy a more powerful battery from market to extend its life because we have access to battery on S4. Now let's see what we have in the cameras of these devices. So on the front, on HTC One and Xperia Z, we have got a 2.1 megapixel camera instead of 2 megapixel camera on Samsung Galaxy S4. At the back of HTC One, we have got a 4 megapixel sensor camera, which is also called ultra pixel camera, and this is instead of 13 megapixel camera at the back of Samsung Galaxy S4 and Xperia Z. So 3 of these devices are capable of taking any photos on the dark places because 3 of them are equipped with a LED. Now you people might be thinking, why would you choose Xperia Z over S4 and HTC One or vice versa? So guys, if you will buy Xperia Z, you wouldn't get disappointed because Xperia Z is a water resistant device which will give you a freedom to take out your mobile in rain, under shower and even under water for a specific time period to receive phone calls, messages and even your emails. So if you are under a shower or rain and afraid of missing your calls, take your Xperia Z with you and believe in better with 13 megapixel snapper. The reason to buy HTC One is simple. First of all, it has superior build quality. Secondly, it has dual speakers with beat audio support, so everything you are listening to become more louder. So it doesn't matter whether you are playing games, watching movies, it sounds perfect. Now lastly, S4 is a live companion and takes users to another level of technology with Air View, which help you to scroll down web pages by looking up and down into your device without touching a screen. If you are not sure what I am talking about here, have a look at my browsing comparison which I have made on YouTube, or just simply click on the annotations which is appearing at the left top. So we have some exciting features on S4 like a smart pause, look away from your phone and it will pause a video, look back, it will start it again. So once you get used to of these features, you will feel your phone is helping you in getting things more conveniently. So guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Don't forget to sub and like this video to get iPhone 5s review soon by me on YouTube. It's going to be released on June if I'm not wrong. If not on June, it's going to be released on July. So get ready for it. For the gaming reviews of iPhone 5s, don't forget to sub and like and stay tuned for all the reviews.